Two classy second half performances saved the day.
Let's burn through that.
Hi, I'm Dax.
And I'm Nick.
And welcome to the Coal Room.
Sorry, I forgot that we were alternating. Our weekly rugby union chat show. Yes, that one.
Why not? Let's give it a try. It's nice to alternate every now and again. But first things first, let's talk about Australia versus New Zealand. The Aussies in the first half of the performance of their life.
Yeah, I must admit, I was wondering what was going on with New Zealand. One, just the handling errors, left, right, and centre. The ball was on the ground more often than it was in the All Blacks' hands. And even the commentators were going like, "What's going on here? This isn't New Zealand that we even saw against France."
Nope.
They didn't say that even France, the hands were a bit of an issue. But Australia were playing really well. Defence was solid.
They defended well. I mean, there was energy about them. They were in the face of New Zealand. I mean, they came off the line really quick, smothered the ball carriers and passes. There was a New Zealand tip tackle which didn't go further than what a lot of people would have thought.
I thought that was a fair call. It was a fair call. Israel Folau, he used his own momentum. You saw him kick his legs to kind of carry him further. And also, who was the tackler?
No, it wasn't Ioane. It was the other
one.
It
was the flank, wasn't it?
No, other wing.
Other wing. Okay. Well, the wing, he didn't drive him. So it literally was momentum that spun him.
Yeah. There's no driving.
And it was a safe landing.
Yeah.
So I feel penalty because yes, it is still illegal. He went past the horizontal, but I think it was fair. No card, no sanctions. I think it was fair. I think Hooper was being a little baby about it.
Well, he was about a couple of calls, but I mean, the only way you can know where you stand with the referee is to talk to the referee. Just be a little bit more decent about it.
But you know what I found amazing about this weekend? Sorry to speak about referees. We had neutral refs in both games.
Yeah, although I kind of felt at times Argentina did have a few little favours in the beginning.
It's a step in the right direction. If we would go back last year, we would have had Angus Gardner refereeing the Bledisloe test, and we would have had either Jaco Paper or Marius van der Westhuizen in our test. So we're going in a step in the right direction.
Yeah, it is a step in the right direction, and I think we've got not Romain Point. We've got the other Frenchman that we.
Romain Gasset.
Yeah, Romain Gasset is also one of our referees in the Rugby Championship coming up. So
big French refs.
Yeah, we're not a big fan of French referees for very, very good reasons. But hey, they know Bryce Lawrence's.
Ooh. We won't speak of that.
But anyway,
moving on.
So second half.
No, well, I want to talk
Okay.
about Australia because I was sitting here, lying on the bed watching, and I was just like, "Oh my fuck, we're in trouble. We're in trouble." And I nearly was just like, "That's it, wooden spoon for us. Australia are going to come at us, kill us. New Zealand are going to kill us." And you know what? Argentina, given the Aguilar's performance, bear in mind this is before the game that I'm talking about this, guys. Given the Aguilar's performance, it was a 50-50 call on the outcome of our game later on. So I was worried. And then halftime happened, and I wish I could have been a fly on the wall with Steve Hansen to be.
I mean, he must have had some very, very
because they went into the break 1 point ahead of Australia, and that try.
They converted.
And that try was in literally the last 5 minutes of the half. So they were down 6-0 for most of the game.
Yeah, for a good 35 minutes they were down 6-0.
But yeah, he must have had some words because as soon as they came out in that second half,
it
was a different team altogether.
It's a New Zealand team that you expect. I mean, there was more continuity. They were more abrasive in their approach. They were a little bit smarter on how they broke the Australians' defence. I mean, when the Australians were coming up, you saw a lot of like kick over the tops, that type of thing would start creeping in. I mean, Bowden Barrett's really.
He had a fantastic game. Brody
in the first half, Bowden wasn't. I think prior to this, his confidence was a little bit down considering his performance against the Crusaders. In the semi-final of the Super Rugby. But having said that, stronger performance from him. The All Blacks came back and just took it to the Australians. I mean, the Australians were on the back foot for the rest of the match.
Yeah, no, it was a great game in the second half for All Blacks, and shame Australia really suffered. They were put to the sword, really struggling to get points on the board at all in that second half.
Yeah, they did get it. They get a consolation prize, but their fitness now is what I see as the big issue. Because I mean, to put a massive performance for 35 minutes,
Yeah.
you have to go the other 55 minutes.
Exactly.
45 minutes. Sorry, 45 to 50 minutes. And we've said that every single time. It's an 80-minute game, and you have to put in 80-minute performances. And look, Australia's going to learn from this because they go travel to New Zealand this week.
Without Falau.
Without Israel Folau, which is a dent in their attacking force, but I mean they've still got Kurtley Beale and the likes of Kurtley Beale and those type
And Matt
of
Tamura is
players.
back, which is good to see.
Yeah, so
and David Pocock had a decent game for
yeah,
the first
so
outing. Yeah.
look, Australia have shown last year that they can upset New Zealand, but they're going to have to put in an 80-minute performance to do that.
Did you hear the commentator's stats where he said that this is now it's now 13 or 14 games in the rugby championship that Australia has not beaten New Zealand, because last year's third Little game fell outside of the rugby championship, so technically it doesn't count in that stat. But yeah, I thought that was quite interesting. But moving on to the next game later on, I have to say I felt like we got a bit of stage fright to start off with.
Oh, we scored the first try.
Yeah, we scored the first try, and
Which was really good.
It was
fantastic.
try.
Kanye had an absolute blinder of a game. I thought he was very, very good. But then we got shell shocked with 2 quick tries.
Yeah, and those were very good tries from Argentina's point of view.
Yeah.
The second one was a bit of a defense lapse, but still very good. But yeah, I have to say that there were certain players that, to me, throughout the game, didn't stand out too much. One, Francois Lowe, to me, I never felt like I heard his name being called. I never saw him really with the ball. But reading afterwards, the post-match articles, apparently he had quite a decent performance and influence in the game.
He was there a lot at the breakdown with Malcolm Marx, who was outstanding again.
Yeah.
I thought he, in some of the ratings I saw, he could have been a little bit higher. But yes, one thing I will agree is our lineouts and his lineout throws were well off target. I mean,
let's think of Australia. Hey? Australia were even worse.
Well, in the first half, in our attacking lineouts, 5 meters out, I think we threw 4 over the top.
Yeah, I think that's bad communication. I agree with you.
But I mean, not bad communication, throwing clear over the top.
Yeah.
Missing jumpers and that type of thing. That's something that we're going to have to tighten up, especially against Australia and New Zealand. I mean, yes, we're getting Evan Etzebeth back, and Peter Step-Toy's getting back used to that lock roll and all that type of stuff. But our lineouts have to function. I mean, and we've got one of the world-class lineout callers in the world, in Victor Matfield. You're a freaking masterclass with the guy. Serious.
Very true. But I have to say that I don't think Mark will potentially not travel to Argentina if Rassie is really going to test the depth of the squad.
Yeah, because Bongi and Aka will definitely travel.
Yeah.
And Bongi, when he came on, was
he was
a bundle of energy.
Yeah.
The line throws started to find their targets.
But then we also lost a key feature, and I think.
Well, look at it this way: that we got Marco van Staden to do that.
Yeah. So I think, based on certain players, it was good to see Etzebeth coming back, and he came back
He
strong.
had a full 80 minutes and was like full of energy.
Yeah.
I mean, he wasn't shy in the contact area. I mean, some solid breaks. He bundled some guys over. I mean, he had 9 tackles in the match. So that's really good stats.
What's surprising though for me was Pollard, because I felt he had a decent game except for his kicking. His kicking was nowhere to be found.
Yeah, in terms of his like touch finders and that type of thing, but his general kicking was fine. But
his place kicking.
For us to miss, I think he had 2 out of 7,
yeah.
so it's 5 conversions that he missed. That's 10 extra points. We could have
a
actually
penalty and 4 conversions.
was it 4 conversions and penalty.
Or 2 penalties, something like that.
So we're looking at roughly between 11 and 12 points that we could have had to actually be well ahead and more comfortably ahead of the Argentines.
And I'm a big Pollard fan. His defense was rock solid.
Yeah, both the fly halves defense was solid. Billy let one go with his under the ball thing. I mean, he should have taken that ball. I mean, beaten in the air and resulted in an Argentine try. Yeah, that wasn't very, very good or savvy by us. But the biggest talking point, the wings.
Oh, fantastic performance. I feel like how many seasons since like the likes of Havana and Peterson, their form started to go down a bit, where we're like, where are wings?
Yeah.
We had no wings in South Africa, and we had no consistency in our wings.
Yeah.
And I think we've finally solved our problem. Both our wings were fantastic on attack and fantastic on defense.
Well, Mapimpi who from the Shark side says very good in communication, very good at telling his hey?
The line.
No, Mapimpi's the Shark.
No, Sabun Kosi is a shark.
And
Mapimpi is a lion.
are you certain of that?
I'm certain.
We're going to check this afterwards.
Where's your cell phone?
Excuse me.
One eternity later.
Makazolo Mapimpi is a shark.
I mean, he's a lion, surely.
National team for the Sharks in Super Rugby and Sharks 15 in the Rugby Challenge. Usually plays as a winger.
Fine, you're right. I eat my words.
You're thinking of Skorsan. What's it? There's Skorsan. There was also I don't know what's his name now. Also big guy, and usually plays centre as well. Anyway, we're getting it up.
Either way, the wings were fantastic.
The wings were fantastic. Great on the P-word juncture to give the ball away to Mapimpi for his second try. Actually,
I was super selfish. I would have been super selfish. I would have been like, hat-trick, yeah!
No, but it goes to show that our guys are using their brains on attack. Because look, what happens if you lost the ball in contact? Because there was a big Argentine guy coming in.
Yeah, but he would have been over the line before the Argentine player would have touched him.
But still, I mean,
I would have been selfish.
Nah.
I'm an asshole. I would have been selfish and gotten my hat-trick.
Yeah, but scrums were again powerful.
Very powerful. But, you know, I sent you a message and I still don't rate France. Yes, the scrums were solid, but his open play work wasn't great.
He was one of the few guys who had lots of tackles in general open play. He had a few good strong carries as well.
When you make stupid mistakes that give away points, then I'm going to say get off the field.
Yeah, but you can say that for every single player on the field.
Especially when we have props that scrum just as well as him, that are actually smarter in open play.
That's true. I was actually surprised Volcolo wasn't...
I was surprised Detroit wasn't starting.
Well, either which way. Beast had a really good round.
I bet he's Mr. Dependable.
And Steven Kitsoff, when he came on, added that energy and go forward as well. He had a brilliant scrum as well.
And David Willems got his Springbok debut with Van Staden.
Yeah, I will say this. Willems did settle after the first couple of minutes, but I mean he did throw that ropey pass that led to an intercept try.
Yeah, that was like both debutants were involved in that, because it was a hospital pass that Van Staden just couldn't quite reach. Tipped his fingers.
Yeah, and then
into the centre's hand.
He just for a runaway try. That was, I think, the only blemish for both debutants on debut. So that's one, like Jean de Villiers said in the post-match thing. They've got that out of the way.
Yeah,
it can only get better from here. And the thing is, Willems had a brilliant tackle. He took a guy out solidly, like in the Hondo Pollard physicality type of way. He did show physicality when he had ball in hand, and the guy's got a good distribution game. I mean, he did kick one up in full, but Faf also did one of those earlier in the games. Why is Papier being a wing replacement? His whole purpose is to be the scrum half replacement.
I think Arasi even said it post-match that it was an extremely tight game and he didn't feel he could make the subs he wanted to make. And so, for example, he wanted Willems to come on at fullback, but because it was such a tight game, he didn't feel like he could pull Leroux off. And I feel like he probably had the same thinking with Faf. That it was such a tight game, he didn't want to pull Faf off. So let's rather get him some run on time anyway, where he could contribute. So I think that was the theory. But you'll probably find next weekend there'll be some tweaks in their starting lineup. You might find Willemse starting at fullback.
Yeah, we'll probably find that, especially with the travel to Australasia after Argentina, and we really, really want some of our big guns to actually feature for that tour. Small fixes I would like us to see going into next week is our passing, especially Fuff at the base of Sunrucks and whatnot. I mean, threw some terrible passes that just went to absolutely nowhere, or behind a player, or he just flats it down
That's
the
just
side.
kind of like what is Jack Russell style, where he's like, I must get this as quickly as possible and let go of the ball as quickly as possible.
Yeah,
I don't
a little
think
bit,
about where it's going.
Yeah, a little bit more control in that area. I mean, you must remember the scrum off, the most important part of the scrum off is his distribution, and he has to have a strong distribution game. The only way we're going to go forward is if our passes are getting to the players where they can go forward.
Yeah.
Passing behinds and those little weird passes that bobble around the ground, that destroys momentum. So Fuff needs to fix that. His box kicks were 50-50 a little bit, so and he takes too long. I feel he needs to get that ball out, hit the box kick, but he did do an awesome box kick that led to a POA's second try.
Yeah, so I think everyone had ups and downs during the game.
Yeah.
I think it was always that first game back together, new
5
faces, new old faces not having game time. So like the likes of Whiteley, Irvin, those kind of players.
Evan looks like, Evan was born on a rugby field. He was probably raised on a rugby field, and he just came onto the rugby field and destroyed everyone.
But yeah, you could see certain hesitations in like Whiteley, for example, where he's getting back in. It's not saying he's a bad player. It's just he needs that
Well, he
time.
defended well and was rally defence.
Yeah.
I mean, we do call him the Minister of Defence. So I mean, he's got that going for him. I'd like to see him feature a little bit more with ball in hand. I mean, he's got a really good distribution game, and he's got good carry. I'd like to see him do that a little bit more. Captain Fantastic Sir Khaleesi kept the guys calm and collected in really trying circumstances.
But I
us two
disagree
tries
with
down.
the switch to blindside.
Yeah, I would like him to
hurts
stay at
his
number
game.
6.
It hurts his game.
But the thing is, who says number 7 has to specifically not be a fetcher and a solid ball carrier? I mean,
Well, if we go back 10 years ago, there was no such thing as a fetcher. So.
exactly. So if Flo can go on the number 7 side, or if Van Staden can start on the number 7 side, let's do it. I mean, you want your captain to be in his strongest position. I mean, look, he had some really good breaks. I mean, he did some solid counter rucking on his own. He was there in the tackle counts. That's what you want. A leader who leads from the front. And the whole leader group is amazing. We've got Evan Etzebeth, we've got Peter Steptoe, Warren Whiteley, Andre Pollard, who have all been captains.
In fact, all of them have captained the Springbok on one occasion at least, which I
Correct.
thought was quite interesting. Like we had 4 captains in the starting team. I was just like,
Correct. And I mean, that's huge, and that's going to filter into that like whole decision making, keeping calm heads, and I mean, all of them have been there. So yeah. So
next weekend we got New Zealand, Australia, but now in New Zealand.
correct. At 9:35 in the morning.
SA time.
SA time.
So I think it's going to be another fairly predictable game. Australia have a few injuries from this weekend. I don't think they don't really have the depth that New Zealand does, for example. So I think they might struggle a bit. So I'm going to say New Zealand probably again by about 15 to 20 points.
Well, they won by 25 points this past weekend, right?
Yeah, I'm being
It's going to be in that region, that 20 to 25 point mark, especially if New Zealand get off to a blinder in the first half. Because if New Zealand assert dominance in the beginning, it's going to be a tough day in the office for the Australians.
And then South Africa versus Argentina in Argentina, which is around 11:30 at
No,
night?
it's 10 past 9.
10 past 9. Okay, so it's an afternoon game then.
Yeah,
Okay.
so it's going to be a 10 past 9 kickoff, I think.
Okay, so I mean it's late-ish.
Our time, so
but-
it's going to be afternoon their time.
Yeah, but that's fine. It's doable.
It is doable.
Remember the first couple of years, it was like 10 to midnight kickoff. And like,
Yeah.
used to have a power nap at 6 o'clock till 9 o'clock.
Like an hour or 2 pound nap, and then you wake up and you make a super strong espresso just to keep the eyes awake.
There we go. I think there's going to be some experimentation.
There
And
is,
because
yeah.
of that, my prediction is going to be a little bit more conservative.
Probably,
I'm probably going to go Springboks to win it again. but not by the, what was it, 16-point margin.
Yeah, we wanted 6 tries to 3.
So I would say probably 5 to 9 points.
Well, 5 to 9 points is a conservative effort, but I will say this: if we can, we need to get another bonus point win this weekend.
Yes, because we need to bank those points before Australasia.
Because we need to bank those 2 bonus points and create a bit of a points differential, because it's all going to feature in how the rest of the rugby champion features. If we lose to Australia and New Zealand away, fine. I don't, in the general scheme of things, I don't think we are, if we do lose to Australia, it's not going to be by much, and I think we've got a better chance of beating them than last year.
Yeah.
To be quite honest. So we need to bank the points now. Hopefully bank will win against Australia, and if we lose to New Zealand, fair. I mean, I'm not, but if we can get a losing bonus point there,
that would help a lot, yeah.
that will help a lot. And then try and beat Australia and New Zealand again on our home league. That will be the key for us, either finishing first or second in this rugby championship.
Agreed, yeah.
And second is not bad.
No. Not
to be quite honest. I mean, that's going to be a huge feature for us if we can finish second.
Yeah.
Because we finished third last year.
Yes, third because of points.
Yeah, and then we came wooden spoon the year before.
Yes.
So yeah, no, we need to at least get to second.
Yeah.
That's goal.
I agree.
Yeah.
So yeah, like the video if you agree with us. If you
Mhm.
disagree with us, I mean, you could dislike it if you want to.
Yeah, you can. But
We'll
comments
just hunt you down and kill you in your sleep. I mean, that.
like Jane Silent Bob and Jane Silent Bob Strike Back.
And
Get a
take
list of
it,
names.
you know.
Yeah. But yeah, anyway, comment and leave us your opinions and anything you want to see on the show, and then hit the bell icon so we can notify you when the video's up.
Yeah. Cheers.
Cheerio.